Cutting weight for an MMA fight or a day before weigh-in tournament. Cutting weight for a day before weigh-in versus the same day weigh-in, and then go right into a competition is a lot different. Today I'm going to deal with cutting weight for the day before weigh-in. The first thing to do is get your weight within 5% of your body weight. I've done upwards of about 12%, but it gets real dangerous, and I'd encourage people to just keep it within 5. The next thing is 24 hours out from the weigh-in, you're going to want to cut out all food and water. And then that night, I usually like to cut about 3 or 4 pounds for the first night before I go to sleep. You can do this a couple of different ways. You can run or walk off with sweats on, or you can sit in a sauna or a crazy hot bath. Any of these ways, you can lose about a pound every 10 minutes. I personally prefer to use a bathtub because a sauna, you have to breathe and the hot air on your lungs, and then with the running, you have to deal with just the fatigue on your body, and you're not going to be able to eat. So that's usually the way I do it. I started doing that later in my fight career. Then I try to go to sleep, get a good night's sleep. That's important. You're just going to want to lay it around, try to relax as much as possible, and sleep. The next morning, I wake up and I repeat the process. I usually will have lost about 1 pound to 2 pounds overnight, leaving me 3 to 4 pounds away from your goal. I usually use the same process that I used the night before, and I try to finish cutting my weight about 2 hours before the actual weigh-in. That way, if I'm having a hard time making weight or whatever, then I have extra time and I can recover in between the time when I finish weighing, finish my weight cut. Now the next part is the rehydration process. And the way that I did it is that I would take a liter of liquid. I use usually a half water, half Gatorade, or Pedialyte, and I would drink that over the course of an hour. And I'd also use a tablespoon of salt, and I would cut that with a little bit of water, and I'd drink that. This way your body's getting gradually putting on the weight, rehydrating. You've dehydrated yourself, and it can mess up your stomach. And I'd repeat this process 4 times before I'd eat anything solid food or anything else. And I'd want to take and stretch out that process as long as possible, so that your body kind of slowly goes up in weight. If you throw a bunch of water at it, you're liable to get sick. So hopefully this helps everybody with their cutting weight and rehydrating before the next tournament.